Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the 2020 Summer Promotion Tournament. It is do or die time for Griffin here. They need to win the next two matches to save a potential spot in the LCK. There is still a best of 5 to play, and they have decided that subbing in Untara is going to be a good idea. I think that is the good news for everyone at home who is Griffin fans. I think that Untara does have a little bit more of that flexibility on the top side of the map. But this is the bad news, guys. iRove is back in, and unfortunately, our Lord and Savior is spending some time on the bench. He's trying to be the puppet master from off the stage, and we'll see whether he can do that. So Wadid is out, iRove is in. Let's see whether Griffin are going to be able to utilize this roster to get themselves a victory. It will mean that things are going to have to change in the draft for SANDBOX. But SANDBOX are on a tear, and if Root plays like he did in game number 1 again, I just don't see how Griffin can win. He was so good.
It's looking like it could definitely just be a 2-0 for SANDBOX. And Tarzan, he's going to need another champion. He shouldn't be on an Olaf in this series.
No.
Power farming for lane setups that don't really offer a whole bunch and doesn't allow him a lot of control over the game, because he's one of the players that you would expect to be able to find aid from. So
True.
Very surprising.
I'm hoping that he's on, something that could be a little bit more teamfight impactful as well. His Sejuani was something that he was very good at in the past. Suits the playstyle of Griffin. I think they need to go full scaling if they can. As we have a look at Wadid Cam, hopefully we can have that activated throughout this game as well. And we'll see whether Wadid actually gets another chance if Griffin can get through this game number 2 and move it to a match point. I think everyone wants that. I think I want to see as much from these two teams as possible before we have to say goodbye to one of them. It is just unfathomable to me to have SANDBOX and Griffin both be potentially relegated after, Griffin was our Worlds team.
Yeah.
They made it very deep into Worlds in 2019 as well, before the team did have to go through so many changes. But Yukar was a great pickup for this team. I think he had a bit of a rough performance in their first game against SANDBOX. They had an unbelievable series, even though it was a loss against Sorrowful Gaming. So it's a very strange world we live in. This is the parallel universe where Wadid is playing for Griffin, but also Griffin are in the promotion tournament. So you can imagine that nerves are certainly high, even on the side of SANDBOX, as you can see Gorilla playing with his thumbs a little bit. Tom Kench was okay in game number 1, but a little bit outshadowed by his AD carry. See what this SANDBOX team are going to have prepared. As you can see, Joker going through his notebook, looking for that secret stuff.
Well, gotta take a look at what the draft's gonna have in store. We do know that Griffin have selected blue in game number 2, and I don't know what power pick that they're trying to get.
On.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have a feeling that's probably it, unless Graves is going to be left up, but he has been banned all day today. As now let's see what Griffin do plan to do for this draft. As you can see, on the blue side is one of our red teams, and Jace is going to be the first ban, the Varus to be taken away instantly. As Syndra also removed. I believe these are similar bans to what Griffin threw out in game number 1. Rumble taken away from Untara. He is a very notable Rumble player. So trying to get him on a off foot. Untara known for both Ornn and Rumble. As Griffin do take away the Aatrox.
Yep.
And SANDBOX, I think that Ornn is probably a decent ban here for this team. Despite the fact that Sword is no longer on the roster. Still taking their time with it.
And Ornn not going to be banned, so...
Yeah, the Grave's going to come in here instead. Aphelios still available, and oh my god, it happened again. The Trundle priority is through the roof. Of course, Tarzan, in years past, has been our best Trundle player in the league. He was undefeated until the start of this year. and played a lot of games. So you can understand why they're trying to give Tarzan as much comfort as possible, but it gives away things like this Aphelios. And Root, with the form that he had, now on a power pick like this, would certainly be scary. And Gorilla once again going to lock away the Tahm Kench. So, LS, I'm begging you, please stay with me.
Yeah, I'm here, Atlas. I'm actually fastening my seatbelt that I purchased.
It's either fastening your seatbelt or looking for the ejector seat, but
yeah,
not entirely sure which one it is. But I could hazard some guesses. Now, Tarzan, there's the Ornn that we were expecting.
Well, Ornn is locked in for most likely Untara, and we'll see what Summit tries to take up against it.
There's Misfortune for Viper. Didn't find a lot of success, but played her a lot in this season. The Summit is considering the Sylas counterpick into the Ornn. Not a bad spot for the Ornn because, of course, Tahm Kench already locked in means that there's no Brawn to ruin his day.
Yeah. And that will get locked in. So, junglers are still open. Now, I'm very doubtful that we would see something like Gragas Yasuo combo or something of that nature come out of SANDBOX.
Could be fun.
But wonder if they'll try to really hammer on to the Ornn and the MF being there. So that is why I bring up those two champions as a combo, because Gragas probably is a champion that should be heavily considered right now.
Oh, yeah.
Into the Trundle.
We actually had a question on Twitter about that, about why the Gragas priority is so low. But I can't actually tell you. It would be much higher if Cuz was here, but he won the LCK. He's not in the promotion tournament.
Yeah.
Set going to be banned away here, as I was expecting Griffin to target the jungle a little bit more. Not going to be the case. SANDBOX thinking about which other support to take away from Iroh. As he was our main Flash level 1 set support player. As Corki removed from UCal's playbook. Trying to mix things up as best they can. Cancel out some of these comfort picks. Of course, Griffin very comfortable playing with Yuumi on their team because they, of course, formerly had Lehens, and he was the best Yuumi player in the world.
Yep. LeBlanc and Set taken away. So we're probably going to have jungle R4. The only way that we don't have jungle R4 is if they do something like a Azir on R4, but I don't think that Azir has a lot of good setup right now.
Yeah, and counterpicking the matchup into UCal is probably a good idea on their side. Oh my god, don't you... What? Okay, so we're looking to see whether Lee Sin can reach 14 losses in a row. Here, if you include the regular season of the LCK and playoffs. I think it's up to 14. He has certainly not been doing a lot of winning. I have LS next to me shaking his head. Still searching.
I'm not shaking my head. I'm
still searching for that ejector seat button. As the Azir is going to be locked in for UCal. See what this means as far as fate. I think, you know, you see Azir and you think things like Vel'Koz being a fantastic matchup into it. But there's the Braum from Iroh.
This team composition legitimately looks unplayable for SANDBOX. You have MF, Ornn, and Azir basically saying Aphelios can never come in. Sylas doesn't even have a lot of value. He can never go melee range against Griffin.
Oh my god, and this is what I was saying, like...
That's the only out. The problem is, Tahm Kench, Sylas, and... Now... What? I thought it was Akassadin.
Yeah, it was Akassadin, and then they moved to Akali instead. This is the Faker choice into the Azir. Fate is going to be the one potentially piloting that. We might have Sylas in the mid lane, of course. We've seen Akali's picked into Ornn's as well, but most likely that Sylas is going to be heading towards the top lane. And I like the Braum pickup from Griffin's side in response to the hijacked Call of the Forge God. But this is a janky comp at best on SANDBOX's side.
If Griffin lose with this kind of a draft edge, I have no words. I have absolutely none for you, Atlas.
Well, I think it just means that the right team stays in the LCK. Or has a chance to stay in the LCK. Remember, this isn't Savior. This is just demotion. For this particular match, we are going to be saying goodbye, and then tomorrow we have a best of 5.
Yep.
For the chance of getting back into the LCK against a team that has already beaten Griffin once. And Griffin now need to win 2 games in a row if they want to stay in the LCK. Is it Irove and Untara? They're going to be able to save them, plus a much better draft than SANDBOX's here in game number 2. Oh, why do we keep seeing Lee Sin when he is never winning games?
We're seeing 4 melee champions in a short range of Philios against Ornn, Trundle, MF, and Azir.
Yeah.
With the Braum. So if Griffin try to proactively fight, or if they do anything like rotate for early objectives and try to handshake on things, I mean, it goes completely against what they should be thinking.
Oh, well,
Team compositionally.
Fate has a prestige skin.
So
you
think they're mad?
Yeah, SANDBOX now has the
mental
edge.
Yeah, the mental edge.
And definitely the wallet edge.
Ooh.
Which
I hadn't even
think
considered
is
that.
very important.
Yeah, I do think that is quite astute analysis.
Well, we've got to zoom in onto the Lee Sin here.
What do you think Lee Sin's diet is?
Losses. He's been eating a lot of losses at the moment, and you can see it here on your screen. 13 in a row, as On Fleek has one of those. Tarzan has 5. And it could be a mind game here for On Fleek.
And maybe what if they're harnessing all of the Lee Sin loss streak, all of that power,
the
like a spirit bomb,
yeah,
to blast it at Griffin.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That would be the next level, next level, next level.
Well, that could be what we are going to have here today. The Lee Sin Spirit Bomb against Griffin.
Let's see what Gorilla and Groot can do here on this Tahm Philios. It is a pretty safe lane, but not one that's going to be hard winning or anything like that. And they do clear out the minions a little bit faster here than Griffin. See how the race to level 2 is going to go, as it is going to be very close to Griffin's tower.
Everything else on the map being pretty standard. Lee Sin with a red into blue and Gromp buff, it seems.
Summon avoiding that Q quite nicely, as you can see. This is a lane that you've been pretty outspoken about, not being necessarily Sylas favored.
Yes.
For at least the first little while. So we'll see how Untara's going to play it out. He's, of course, a resident Ornn player himself. It's so funny that Sword and Untara were probably our main Ornn players, and then both of them joined the same team.
Yep. And I could actually feel the heat inside the Lol Park Rise when Ornn was locked in.
Yeah?
Sword was seething backstage.
He
He's
was.
like, well, why couldn't they leave it open when I was in the game? As Untara probably going to go over and build something now. Let's take a look. Will it be a Ruby? Probably going to be a Ruby.
Yeah, it should be a Ruby. He probably wants to get Catalyst as quickly as he can, as no, he's just standing there. Oh, there we go. He builds himself a Doran shield, as Root doing a lot of poke damage to Irove here. Marking him up, grabbing him, and the Crescendo. Fantastic for long-range CC ability. As SANDBOX have a lot of control here in this lane, but it's not exactly translating to CS advantages or anything like that. Just pressure on the map.
Yeah.
As Summit is really struggling, but does, of course, have another charge of his Corrupting Potion that he does finally use.
Yep, also has the Biscuit.
And Kingslayer that can help get that health back, so a little bit deceptive is the laning phase of the Sylas.
And not too much else is really going on here. As Untara just trying to endlessly shove in the Sylas, and we shouldn't have too active of an early game. And this is the thing with Lee Sin, is this jungler does not scale.
No.
And he's going to be extremely hard-pressed with a Sylas and an Akali to set up any sort of ganks.
Especially in Akali with no health.
Yeah, Fate. I mean, he does have teleport.
Yeah. Summit doesn't have a lot of mana. He's going to eat one of his biscuits now. Tara very comfortable with his mana pool right now. On fleek. Does find a Q onto a big Raptor. But he's not going to go for it or anything like that. Looks to just clear out vision where he can. Pings on the Krug camp, which might be where Tarzan's going to be going. As he puts down his trophy. On fleek now in trouble here. Will land resonating strike, bringing out the trade so far as Fate looking to come in. Yukel not with a lot of mana right here. Safeguard forward, Tarzan very low, Q avoided. Very nice stuff as Yukel now looking to try and take down on fleek. He flashes, and the Shuriken backflip's going to be enough to get Fate to safety, but that was a janky fight if I have ever seen one. Griffin are still going to be fine. If
On Fleek just landed the Q, Tarzan is dead every single day of the week, and On Fleek would still be able to get out, so...
It was a decent sidestep from Tarzan, I have to admit, but you do need to land those Qs if you're on fleek. There is the Devour. Brute. Still able to get a lot of damage as it does grab his Crescendum. Teleport here back for Summit, who does have himself a Revolver now. And dives on Antara here. The hijack comes in. Antara in trouble. Summit will throw this one back, and there's a solo kill out of nowhere. Antara, no idea that that was even a thing that he had to worry about.
The weather outside today is lovely.
Yes, it is.
And I think it
quite
is
warm.
Yeah, it really is. Quite warm.
I regretted wearing my hoodie today on my way to work. I thought maybe it was just a t-shirt that I needed. Yeah. Yeah, that was a solo kill top lane.
We'll take a look at it in the replay right now.
나 바로 쏠 수도 있다. 나 바로 쏠 수도 있다.
I can kill him right away. I can kill him right away. So he autos the minion.
And he
then
gets
the
level
cannon
6.
was aggroing so that the cannon would finish it off. It helped him finish it off, get level 6. And the solo kill comes out. And now, meanwhile, SANDBOX, they get the Infernal Dragon as well. Things are... See, that's why I was mentioning the weather.
Yeah.
Was because they were going to get the Infernal trade.
And now it's going to be an Ocean second. Cloud Soul will be coming in, as it's not going to mirror the weather here today, which I guess isn't mountainous, but it's not very windy. It is, as you were talking about, absolutely lovely. Zantara, he's got a big wave stacked up. Misses that CS, as Summit has clawed his way back into this one.
And you can see a lot of the pings going down. They don't exactly know where Tarzan is, and so they're being a little bit respectful on the top side. But Summit in a really good position as it does currently stand. And at this point, he should be able to start taking over the lane against the Ornn.
Yeah.
On fleek, I mean, he hasn't really done anything on the Lee Sin yet, other than just take that Infernal Dragon. Okay!
Moonlight Vigil goes down. Irobe in a lot of trouble. Has to flash in a 2v2 scenario. SANDBOX laning very, very well right now. And I don't know whether subbing Woodid out was a good idea. And, well, I mean, I know that it was a bad idea.
Yeah.
But now it's getting proven. There's Root with exactly the weapons that he wants. Some really good teamfight weapons, especially when he can stack up those chakrams. This Summit is going to be made brittle. He does have hijack available yet again, though. See whether he can utilize it. He does have a level advantage also. Wanting to stay out of range of the knockup, just in case he gets comboed by Antara. Looks like the Ornn is okay for the minute.
Yep. Summit is up quite a bit in the CS department. That is something that they have to respect. Now, what SANDBOX is going to need to do is somehow win the Rift Herald for free. Viper casting his ultimate to shove in the wave. He is down 9 CS currently in the bot lane department, but Aladios and Gorilla do have the jump. As
Kingslayer doing some work here. It's called. The forward scope comes down. Summit flashes it. Steals Subjugate to try and turn things around onto Antara.
Yeah.
That is just going to be a free flash coming in and does give all of Summit's health back, actually. So as far as lane state is concerned, he's now very happy.
Yep.
I liked the decision-making there from Summit.
And I don't know what Griffin are doing. They're pinging onto the Rift Herald. You can see Aphelios is here.
Yeah, Fate can rotate around as well. As Tarzan's dived in, he's looking for Summit, but there's the abscond. It lands onto Antara. He's looking to try and bring this one back. There's the kick onto Tarzan, but doesn't really get enough done. And the turnaround does come in. Gorilla holds onto the Rift Herald, but she gets a little bit impatient, and she will run back to her den. And Viper now looking to steal away all of these plates, like this turret is an IKEA.
So the thing is that Root lost 12 CS to do this rotation. So that is a lot of unfortunate gold and XP that went into nothing. And you saw MF, I mean, she got the majority. So in the end, a kill, even though it didn't happen on screen, ended up occurring down in bot lane.
Yeah, because of the entire minion wave being eaten. This does give away the advantage that Root had picked up for himself as well. So I completely agree. Certainly working out in favor of Griffin. Still, SANDBOX are ahead by about 500 gold. Tara, to his credit, is staying ahead in CS. Summit is ahead on levels, though. Certainly does have a lot of control in this lane thus far. He's feeling quite volatile. He's now gone back. He's collected himself his Proto Belt. He's going to be pretty tricky on this Silas. As
well,
Root is, I can feel it. Can you feel the confidence? I can feel the confidence.
Yeah.
Coming off this guy today.
I think he is doing quite well so far in both of these games. So looking to try to chip away, get the turret plate here. And if you're SANDBOX, in 30 seconds from now, the Ocean Dragon will come up. And after you capture that, ideally, you get a mountain.
Yeah.
That would be best case scenario. However, it's not, I would say that it's a soul that Griffin can actually beat, whereas Infernal or Ocean could be just way too problematic.
Yeah, and Ocean Soul not going to be a thing this game as it's the next one that has spawned. So Griffin probably breathing a sigh of relief as that Ocean Drake does now spawn. Troll Vision going to be taken away here as OnFleek gets into the brush. Very even as far as jungle CS is concerned. You can see 67 apiece plus a ward there on OnFleek's side. A couple of wards being picked up there by OnFleek. But now Yukao dubs the wave, moves down into the river. The SANDBOX not putting too much priority on this Drake at the moment. Tara getting zoned, having to respect Summit a lot right now. After that solo first blood did go down.
Well, everyone is continuing to play ping pong. Now, this doesn't even really matter all that much. Griffin, they do have superior scale.
Yeah.
They have ornaments. They're champions in a vacuum, work very well together, and SANDBOX is...
Oh dear.
I just have to stop myself on the follow-up word, as they are being a little bit debated here by the Dragons.
Wow, think about how many voyages Gorilla can go on.
True.
Many voyages.
Wow.
That is a lot of voyages.
I'm sure prices are not too high right now.
Yep. I mean,
With the
Summit
Cloud
is
Drake.
actually a champion that can utilize it because you can cycle through ultimates very quickly. Can't use the same one twice in a team fight, but you can use a lot of them in a team fight because Hijack does have a low cooldown at level, when you are level 16. That's, you know, there's a relatively silver lining, maybe a chrome lining to the Cloud Drake.
Kind of nice. Yeah. Chrome. Well, it does bail Griffin out, as it just grants them more and more time. And you can see that all of their turrets are still really healthy. You see the mid-tier one has not taken any damage.
Yeah,
Top tier one.
Bottom lane, but that's about it. It's Gorilla taking a bit of damage, but Root stuns up Tarzan with the last couple of bits of ammunition in his Gravitum. As Iroh, all right, Troll Vision goes down and Root is going to get the bad news. Immediately heads on over to Bertha, is going to punish her. As Viper will push this minion wave into the turret. Turret plates just fell down, so not too many of them going either way, but as far as the turret plate advantage is concerned, it is going to be a win for UCal in the mid lane as he was able to get one, but a couple picked up by SANDBOX's bottom lane to get this Aphelios into danger territory. Currently ahead by 12 CS on top of everything. You can imagine Viper not feeling too much pressure because he just needs to think about positioning in team fights as this game continues, and he should be okay. This Griffin composition, as we've spoken about already, is just much easier to pilot than what SANDBOX have put together. SANDBOX, on a really good day, right, they can finesse their opponents, but could be dangerous. Safeguard comes in. Double up, not going to find any joy. As the Akali's not down by too much. It can be hard to farm in this particular lane against the Azir. You do run the risk of standing on top of the Sand Soldiers a lot.
And one of the things that is going on in this game is that SANDBOX, they're going to have basically one more chance to probably fight before the itemization and just sitting back becomes basically the guarantee or the surety for Griffin.
Yeah.
And that'll probably just be the next Cloud Dragon. So I'm not totally sure what they're going to manage to do because it's just endless ping pong. This is like a premature lull state is happening over and over, and well, Tarzan comes down, pillars.
Yeah, this turret is going to fall down first though, as SANDBOX do grab that first turret blood. Finally puts their advantage over 1,000 gold and does give a lot more money into the pocket of Rude. He's now going to be unlocked, likely to park himself in mid lane, as OnFleek just thrown out that Griffin flare. Finds the Q onto UCal also.
And Tarzan's going to go back to farming. So this is Farming Simulator 101. You're going to want to make sure to pay attention to this.
Yeah. Just make sure you have a look at which kind of tractors they bought.
Correct.
Things like that. I mean, the brand is very important if you are going to keep your farm in exactly the way that you want it. OnFleek just showing us that sometimes if you have the good tractor, it actually farms while you're walking away. Like it's just going to work by itself, which is really cool. Autonomous farming work is something that the best equipment is capable of in this day and age.
Yep.
Certainly wasn't around in my father's time. That is very true.
Well, here's that dragon. It's coming up in 30 seconds. We'll see what SANDBOX can end up doing. Now, the correct call for Griffin would probably just be to give it up and let your champions get to more items, because this is going to be the last real edge that SANDBOX should have, because after Silas gets his Luden's Echo, he's not really going to change that much as a champion. He's going to end up becoming stuck on his items. The Akali with the Gunblade right now is at a pretty strong point for herself, but you can just see that it's really hard for SANDBOX to approach. They've actually been poked down quite a lot, and so this does give Griffin a little bit of an edge as we approach this team fight. And if Griffin
is going to land, there's the Moonlight Vigil. It is going to be true as well onto Griffin. Summit finds his way in with the Abscond. Immediately he gets exhausted. Shuriken backflip there from Fate, but he's been subjugated and he's going to run away. And now the Ornhorn comes in and Tara gets one knock up at Root. Devoured, kept in safe range. And SANDBOX now have the inside track towards this dragon. Summit even there to clear out this minion wave. As it looks like Soul Point's going to come through. Searing Charge not going to work out there from Untara. Summit uses his flash to keep himself out of the way. SANDBOX successfully moved towards Cloud Soul Point, but it's much worse than the Soul Points that it could have been in this game.
And Griffin are still ahead, as weird as this sounds, because their champions are worth more in terms of base. They're just actually fundamentally better together than the opposition. So as the game does draw on, as Untara gets to his ornaments, probably going to be Forge Fire Cape next, although he seems very stunted on gold, as he's almost level 13 and he only has one item. Does have Bramble Vest, and probably go for Forge Fire Cape next. Oblivion Orb plus Sork Pen Boots on the Azir. Very good. Gives him the 33 pen against the opponents. And just take a look at this. So Griffin are grouping up and funneling forward, looking for a team fight. And SANDBOX really quick to capitalize. Fake it zoned out, as did Tarzan and Yukal. Tom Kench exhausting Viper.
Yeah, it was a fantastic devour there from Gorilla as well. Keeping Root alive.
And SANDBOX, they're only up 1,500 gold, but that's not really a meaningful advantage. No Luden's Echo yet on the Sylas.
I don't think he's been back for quite a while.
Yeah.
He's now moving back down towards bottom side, and Tara continues to have just a slight gold advantage, but now they're fighting this one out. Horn comes in yet again, as Tara going to have to flash in a 1v1 to escape this. I don't know whether it's like actually something that he needed to flash away from, or whether he's just really scared of Summit.
Well, I'm not so sure of what is going on here. As
okay. That was a cue to steal it away.
Yeah, that was very interesting. Fate is going to raise the top turret. And so now it's a 2,000 gold lead. And Griffin, I really can't stress it enough. They're still in a really good spot, even if it doesn't look like it.
Yeah, I mean, it looks at the moment like SANDBOX on track for a perfect game. Is Root going to get devoured once again? I've seen this movie before. Is Gorilla going to go down? That's their first kill. Safeguard's going to get on fleek to safety. As you can see, Root doing a lot of damage. Still, that is one pick off, and Griffin do get at least some statistics on the board.
Yes. So they end up getting a kill for themselves. It also goes on to Ornn, who can really use it right now, trying to get to that second Ornn item.
Yep.
As he is level 13 now. Now, you take a look at this, and you got to ask yourself the question as SANDBOX, is it imperative that we get 300 chip damage onto the turret in order to group up so that the opponents can then use their ultimates on us? And I think the answer is
용 봐도
no.
되고요, 이제.
Wasn't bad.
Wasn't bad.
Watch Dragon. And I think that the Devour was very good. I think if Root dies, it is much worse. And Root now has the two items that he's looking for. We still are having Viper sitting only on the Essence Reaver. And he's got a few other random items there as well, so felt forced into purchasing an Executioner's Calling early. And feeling like he needs to respect the double AP coming out of the solo lane from SANDBOX. So has a Negatron Cloak also, going to put his Infinity Edge a little bit further behind. As Iroh, the Unbreakable, used just to block some of Root's damage here. Who switches over to Gravitum Infernum. And Root does need to be a little bit careful. He's certainly playing very far up. As On Fleek grabs himself a Rift Scuttler, is now 20 CS in the lead. 5 camps over Tarzan right now. And
Griffin, they are just scaling up. Untara should get 14 soon, and when he does, never mind. No one has a Alice.
Yeah.
You need an ornament in order to get the ornament.
Edge is coming. Yeah. Golden Edge is coming. As Summit finds himself a Glacial Fissure. And just throws it out because he can, I guess. Possibly to help clear out a minion wave. That was very weird. But now, Summit going to have to wait. He's level 14, so his Hijack still with a bit of a cooldown. Now 15 seconds to go. Cloud Drake going to be spawning. Cloud Soul, an opportunity. Teleport in from Antara. From the top side of the map, Summit dashing on over. They are going to clear out this control ward. And SANDBOX have control of the pit. They have the low ground. LS would say. Trophy comes out.
I think that they're just going to burst. Wait.
Griffin needs to make a decision. They need to go in. They need to try and do something. As Root going to get devoured. The Ornhorn not going to come back there as there's Cloud Soul. And now in goes Yukal. Only hits Gorilla though, and he's going to be taken down. The bullet time has to flash immediately. And Viper gets no damage. Now the Ornhorn is going to be picked up. Locks down Iroh. And Summit is still alive. Flashes out. Stays true. And now Gorilla looks for Root, who's dived on top of this Ornn. He is extraordinarily dead. Shuriken backflip is going to land also, and Fate is not done. Now looking for Tarzan, who's behind enemy lines. I was half expecting that turret to hit Fate, but that is their side of the map. Griffin were running in the wrong direction, and Tarzan is probably going to survive, but now Severum Crescendum is there for Root, and ladies and gentlemen, I think we're starting to wave goodbye to Griffin.
I think that the Griffin is not flying today, or maybe it is. First class on Jin Air, that's what I'm talking about.
Ace Dragon can get good deals.
Oh no. All right, let's take a look at this team fight one more time. So, Onfleet goes out, and then Untara allocates the ultimate onto Onfleet, who ends up getting the dragon. It was at 69 HP. Watch UCal. He flashes over, takes the blast cone. It doesn't even matter. It's such a disjointed team fight. As now, Summit says, let me show you how to really do it, as he casts his own Ornn ultimate before flashing backwards and trying to get out. Viper tries to recall, hides behind Bambi, but eventually is brought down by Fate.
Yeah. I'm so sad that you said Bambi.
Yeah.
Although I guess I was already sad, given the nature of
Well,
this game. But one of these teams had to go, right? That's just how it works. It wasn't stolen.
You open the first page of that book, it will certainly say Griffin. That is, however, this is actually I think a reasonable Morello purchase relative to the power that he needs right now. Because there's the Silas, there's the Akali.
I mean, there's even
Aphelios,
Spirit Visage on Blake as well, right?
So, I think given that he needs as much power as he can get right now, it's the unfortunate situation.
Well, Summit just going to dash on over, and Tara is going to land the ult here. As Summit, can he deal with 5 members? The answer's no. But Akali's going to take the turret on the top side of the map, and Summit is just buying space. Has teleport, but will be back in 40 seconds. As he is certainly very high level at this stage of the game. 7,000 gold is the lead for SANDBOX. Cloud Soul in hand. And that will actually be very useful given this split push situation. Pressing R and then being able to run real fast is certainly something that SANDBOX will be able to utilize.
Yeah, for sure.
Holds onto this minion wave.
Rabadon's death cap going to be completed here soon on Silas.
Oh my god, that is going to be so much
as Forge Fire Cape was built. No ornaments. Oh no, I think
Molten
that's
Edge.
the first one. Yep, Molten Edge coming in. No one else is building an ornament.
And Viper just missed the cannon minion. So...
Well, Atlas, I said in the champ select that if it was possible to lose game 1 and 2 with these ginormous draft edges, something is seriously wrong.
Yeah.
And SANDBOX are, I mean, nothing even happened. They played ping pong for the first 18 minutes and then out-rotate, or not even out-rotated, just out-danced Griffin. And it's overall just very surprising. And the Lee Sin Spirit Bomb might have worked.
Well, I mean, on Fleek, he's 0-0-2 out of the 5 kills that SANDBOX have picked up. It's not quite a 50% kill contribution, but he'll be able to get there if he participates in the next one. And this will be Lee Sin's first win over 14 games. Zyro's looking to clear out this vision. It's not over until it's over, though, guys. And it's only a Cloud Soul. It's not a game-winning Dragon Soul by any means. And this Griffin team comp is still way better. And so if this game continues and they are able to mitigate SANDBOX just moving over to subsequent Barons, Elder Drakes, things like this, and there is still a chance, but it is slim at best. As Onfleek connects the Q, fair bit of damage there still. You can see Root does so much work. Phantom Dancer complete. A lot of crit, also has a stopwatch available, and that plus a Tahm Kench is going to mean that Aphelios is very safe in these fights. But it doesn't change the fact that he still has the issues that we stated in the draft phase, right? He should theoretically have a very hard time participating in fights where Viper can sit back and bullet time and all this sort of stuff.
It's almost 5 melee champions, basically, on the side of SANDBOX.
Yeah.
Given how awkward it should be for Aphelios to fight against the MF Trundle, Ornn, and Azir. And if Griffin just holds a Phalanx, has the Braum and Trundle act as defenders, use Pillar as an interrupt rather than as an offensive ability. Let the Sand Soldiers and the Make It Rain sort of lead the way for you.
Yeah.
And honestly, I mean, here in this game, the only thing I think could help Griffin possibly at this point would maybe be Annie, but
Oh, man.
maybe a little bit too far gone even for that.
Yeah. Well, they need to be able to switch out a champion mid-game, which is certainly tough. Yes, Annie. Makes me think of Tabe. Remember Tabe?
No.
Annie support god.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's a blast to the past.
Oh, yeah. It was always fun on the desk as Summit picks up a call of the Forge God. Needs to be careful of Irove. He can cycle through these ultimates very, very quickly, as we know. Now standing over the side. He was on vision. Not going to get removed there as Root trying to do the damage. Okay, there's the on-horn. Looks for Tara with it, actually. The UCal Sand Soldiers, they do need to be respected. There's the knock-up onto Root. No Devour just yet. Does come in now. Gorilla spits back Root. Now they're going to have to wait before they can use that again, but you can see Crescendum able to get a lot of damage down as Root does have the weapons that he wants. And look at this from such long range, and he's still sitting on the Moonlight Vigil.
This is really scary. They're getting slowly escorted. Akali. Wait, did he just smite red?
I think so.
Wait, he doesn't have smite. I wonder if they're communicating this, that Tarzan...
He has another charge.
He
will have it available for when this Elder Drake gets low. But will they even be able to get into the pit is going to be the question as Summit trying to play goalie. Fate wrapping around as well. They are going to take the Elder with no response from Griffin. They've still got 0 neutral objectives so far this game. They haven't even got a turret. The only thing they've picked up is 2 kills. And we did state that Griffin, they have a composition that can just sit back and play for the late game, but this is not what we meant. We didn't mean give up everything. As SANDBOX just casually stroll now with their Elder Dragon over to the Baron. And they have 2 minutes of Elder and a couple of minutes, 3 minutes of Baron buff to really crush down onto Griffin. 10,000 gold lead.
I mean, great relief fund here versus spending big as the 10,000 gold lead.
Oh no.
I think you were right, Atlas. I think they didn't quite get the memo that you don't want to give too much relief over to the enemy team. But Elder and Baron, they're now going to make their way in. This could just be the final push. There's actually no ornaments. There's just one on the Molten Edge. You can see the death cap is being built towards for the Azir, but they're not going to have it. The other problem for this team fight is the base levels. 1 in top, 2 in jungle, 1 in mid lane, and 2 in AD carry, 2 in support. That is a lot of just damage that they can absorb for free.
Yeah, exactly. And Root is like so far ahead. Same level as the solo lanes on the side of Griffin, apart from UCal. As Ornhorn does come in here. Summits, though, and is going to send it back. But you can see how quickly the hijack is going to be available again, now that he does have 3 points into it. And this inhibitor turret in the mid lane is going to be taken down. Root going to make short work of the inhibitor as well. Severum Crescendum is done, so Root can certainly fight close range very effectively. But 2 inhibitors fall very, very quickly. And Griffin just look like they have absolutely no answer. It's almost like they've accepted the inevitable at this point. They still need one more team fight. They need one more opportunity. And they're going to have to repeat that over and over again if they're going to stand any chance. They're going to need multiple miracles to save their LCK lives in this moment. Otherwise, they will just be demoted. And this is the last promotion tournament, the last opportunity to get back into the LCK without paying a lot.
Oh, Root?
Yeah, they're going to take a lot of damage. Gorilla holds onto the Devour, though. Root can use the Severum to keep his health bar high.
There's only a Baron buff remaining right now, so it's not like they're fighting back against the Elder. In theory, this means that Griffin will have one more rodeo if they can manage to hang on. Baron, this is going to be the last minion wave for it to be crashed in. They will get the 7v5 enabled, and it's all happening at once, which means there's not a whole... Oh, this could be it.
Comes down. He's got so many chakrams. What the heck? The amount of damage available from Root. He's taken down the Trundle. There goes the Braum, but he's just goes a little bit too deep. They're trying to take down the Nexus turrets. The Summit is very low. Runs away from the tower shot, but isn't going to keep himself alive. Now, Viper and Yukal, they're the last men standing, but they should be able to be enough to defend this one Nexus turret, unless the super minions are going to be too much. They do have a lot of wave clear. There's no Baron left, and SANDBOX are going to have to reset by the looks of things.
Now, this is actually an interesting timing where if you could actually suicide for the Nexus turret and just have your death timer go up, it would actually be worth it. Because you look at the map and there's nothing for Griffin to do.
Yeah, and also they can't leave because one Nexus turret isn't going to stop 6 super minions coming in every wave.
Yeah. And you're going to see what happens here. Root doing so much damage on Eladios. Ends up bringing down the Braum, but he goes way too far forward.
That was just massive burst damage.
The Sand Soldiers doing so much value right here. Summit even dying at the very end. They turn back around to try to get value out of the turret. Now, Elder is in a minute and a half. This is an enormous amount of free gold and EXP being given over to Griffin. Yep. So this is going to help bring balance to the levels. However, SANDBOX, they're going to group up. Here we go.
Yep, there's the ultimate lands only onto Gorilla as Summit sends his one back. Montara going to get knocked up by that one. Unbreakable is in as Tarzan's taking so much damage. Fate enters the back line, but gets under his shroud as he gets exhausted. Perfect execution, not quite working out here as Root is still doing so much damage. Calibrum and Infernum are online, so has that extra range to work with. It's now SANDBOX just looking to escort more minion waves in and keep up this pressure. But Griffin have staved them off for the moment.
Yep.
No one to die just yet. OnFleet goes and picks up the enemy red buff. Now moves himself back into the Griffin base. But somehow, some way, Griffin are holding on. This is insane.
Oh, man.
Okay, Glacial Fissure comes out from Summit. He's trying to get something done. This is the... Oh my god, Aphelios! Root just wiping the floor with him. The Akali's going to fall down. Remember, Yukal does have a lot of damage, but so does Root. The cleanup is in! And Root hand delivers his team back into the LCK.
And Griffin have been eliminated from LCK. SANDBOX keep themselves alive for one more series that will be tomorrow.
Yeah.
And if you went back in time 6 months and said that a team with Viper, Tarzan, and Yukal would get relegated in the LCK, or Griffin as an org would get relegated, I don't think anyone would probably believe you.
Yeah, it's incredibly unexpected. Yukal there, I mean, he was doing a hell of a lot of damage in those late game team fights, but never really found his window, never really found his opportunity. You can see what did. Oh man, the amount of pressure on players like Ontara, onto iRove as well, who come in that clutch moment and are forced to perform. And they get a draft like that should have been able to be piloted to a win.
That was a draft. That was a massacre in the draft, and they couldn't win with it. That is, I don't know. I think you would want Griffin's draft 99 out of 100 times, practically. So, or 100 out of 100, if I'm being honest. It was really big. They have simultaneously winning lanes, better scaling, better mid-game. They have everything that you could want, and the opponent has a non-factor jungler that can't realistically engage. There's no real kick targets. And yet, mechanically, SANDBOX outplayed Griffin at every stage of the fight. Griffin were constantly, I don't even want to say on different pages, they're in different books.
Yeah, I think there must certainly be something else going on with this team. It's turmoil, to say the least, as you saw Tarzan in tears there after Griffin play their last game on the LoL Park stage. For the foreseeable future, there is a chance that they can buy back into the league, but it is now a pipe dream that is a lot further away.
And there's Nahyun, and I think everyone is sort of also wondering, why the hell did he not go top lane, or even UCal go top lane?
I mean, that's what
and
we were
have
asking for
Nahyun
at the
play
beginning,
mid,
right? Yeah.
because he's better than all the top laners.
He's also a really good mid laner.
Yes.
We saw him
So,
on Dragon X. We just haven't
it's
seen him for so long.
Really bizarre. I had him slated as being the 4th best mid in summer 2019. The guy is really, really, really good, and they never once tried to utilize that roster swap. I mean, and mid laners can go top lane. Mid laners are the
UCal,
roles
like,
that can do everything.
UCal also was our Ornn player in mid. He was a Nautilus player. He plays a lot of melee champions. He actually, like, part of his champion pool is just top laners, right?
Yeah,
it would have certainly suited.
I don't know. It's bewildering.
It is.
Peculiar.
And it's really
Perplexing.
sad to see. It's really sad to see a team that in 2019 was so dominant. Even 2018 when they debuted, they were super dominant. And now to fall down so far and to fall out of the league, winning one game in the promotion tournament after looking on an uptick, honestly, in their last few games in the LCK.
I think I know why Chovy looks so stable all throughout 2020. He
made
left
the right
Choki
choice.
at Griffin.
Ah,
That's
what
what
it
happened.
is. Oh,
I think
my
we found the
goodness, I
ghost
didn't-
coach.
Yep, there we go. It was there all along, and we never knew.
We just couldn't point it out before today.
Still is sad. I told a bit of a lie towards the end of the game. Of course, SANDBOX have not made their way back into the LCK yet. They still need to take down Cerebral Gaming in tomorrow's best of 5, but this is certainly a big confidence boost for this team. But I still think that they have to look at the drafts.
I mean,
I think they need Root to play this well also.
Viper, even all of this, like, I have no idea what they were thinking grouping up like that, especially after having just won previously by poking them out. So it's really difficult to break down in highlights or replays the types of mechanical blunders being made. This was a saving grace for Griffin.
Yeah, that was their one kill.
And again, they weren't down in gold, really, almost at all, for the first 20 minutes of the game. They even rolled a really fortunate dragon, Cloud, which bails them out because it's not integral to the game, and it's not like an end dragon. It's not something that you get the soul and miraculously the game just ends.
Yeah.
It's one that is definitely beatable. And you gotta feel bad. You really do. But SANDBOX, they're not out of the woods yet. Like you said earlier, they go on tomorrow for one final best of 5 versus Cerebral Gaming.
We'll see whether they can win. Of course, Cerebral's already taken down Griffin so far, but they didn't put up much of a fight at the hands of Team Dynamics. We'll just see whether they're back on form as we look to tomorrow's games. But right now it's about saying goodbye to Griffin. As, I mean, they killed Root there. That was their second kill of the game. And so it did delay the inevitable just a little bit as Summit took a few too many turret shots. But the damage had already been done. And Root gets back. And then look at this AoE damage. This Aphelios just did so much work in a comp that he shouldn't have been able to do work on, right? Like, he's now frontlining as Aphelios, and he wipes the floor with everyone.
It was really strange, Atlas. What? In a comp where he shouldn't be able to ever hit, he deals top damage. So Root found the route to victory here today.
He did. It was via Ezreal, then Aphelios, and he played both of them gloriously. He was by far, I think that like, it's really funny because we don't have player of the game in this tournament.
No.
But I feel like there have been some really clear player of the games in these series. It's 100% Root. Chovy gets it by default, and then the secondary one goes to Root.
Okay.
Chovy gets it because he delivered Choki over to the other opposing team.
I see what you did there.
That's what he did. That one stayed at home. Although Chovy didn't really have the greatest of playoffs, they still made it to the playoffs, so that's absolutely fine. And now we have it, guys. That best of 5 happening tomorrow. Myself and LS will be there with you as Cerebral Gaming up against SANDBOX.
That is going to be a match.
Yeah, they're fighting for their way back in.
The thing is that SANDBOX, they draft very all-in early mid-game compositions. And in both of these games, I wouldn't even say that they necessarily achieved anything at those stages, but they just outplayed their opponents in the later stage. Again, they got 2-0'd by Dynamics, but I think that their 2-0 was... It looked better than Dynamics versus Sorabel.
Yes,
so
that's absolutely true.
We'll see what happens.
Exactly right, but that is it for tonight, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see you tomorrow for that best of 5, and for now, goodbye.
And I am ready to take it on. You told me to be myself and never feel alone. You're all that I want. All that I need. If I was ever in the dark